Hello everybody and welcome back inside the box for another episode of Gunpla Kitbash with me, Kukamatsu. In this episode we're working on the shoulder armor, so let's jump right in. Okay, let's do some work on the arms now that we've got the torso pretty much working well. The first thing I noticed when I put this arm on is just this gap here that they feel a little bit disconnected since the Barbatos frame is a little bit wider than the Freedom frame. And actually, I think I found a solution using the same piece from the Barbatos frame, which is this piece here. If I can just get that on there. You know, sometimes I feel like these kits were made to be together there. The pieces fit so well, it's pretty amazing. So I'm just thinking something simple like that. I'll just glue it onto the panel, make it part of the panel, and then I'll trim down here. And hopefully that will fill that gap. So let's see how that goes. I'm going to trim it really roughly just down here for now. I don't want to cover up this cool mechanical stuff, and I don't want to interfere with the connection point of the arm. So that's why I'm going to cut it back, and I'll have to cut it back a little farther. So the idea is that it'll go like that. I'm just going to put it on with some sticky tack to make sure it works first. I need to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the arm connection there, which I think is fine now. So I'll do a nicer cleanup of that edge in a minute once I get this on. I'll just sticky tack that on there just to make sure that it's all working before I commit. I think that's pretty cool. Probably want to trim that tab off as well so the line just continues straight across so it doesn't look like an add-on. So just straight across here. I think what I'll do is I'll glue this on and then I'll just cut the back kind of to match the same angle. And what I'm hoping here is that I don't have to do any filling. I'm hoping it's going to be just a straight glue on there. So the trick will be to make sure that glue doesn't squeeze out the sides there. So I'll just use the clear super glue for this and not go overboard with how much I put on. Ooh. Well, that went pretty well, and I'm just going to trim this back to the shape that's behind it. Just take out the bulk with the nippers, and then I'm going to actually do the rest with a knife just to be as precise as I can here. And I do notice from the front angle this goes up a little bit, so I am going to just trim that back so that it's a little bit more flush with the blue part. Just a little bit of gentle trimming with the knife. There we go. I think that's working pretty well. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. Fills that gap nicely. Looks like it belongs. Okay, so now we've got the transition to the arm figured out. The question is what to do with the rest of it. As I think I've mentioned before, this is my favorite arm in any kit that I've ever built. So I'm not going to do anything to it. I like it as is. But the shoulder piece I think can use a little bit of stuff. The first thing I want to do is simplify it a little bit. And I think that's going to be pretty easy. Start with this red piece here. All I really want to do with this red piece is trim off this little extra fin. It has these very small details here that I also want to get rid of, which I will do with super glue. Just going back to my black super glue here, I'm going to put a little bit on there just to fill in that detail. This is the kind of change that is super easy to make and really quick using super glue. I know a lot of people are more of the mind of adding detail than removing it. I'm not sure how many people are into simplifying it like I am. Some of this stuff I just find to be extraneous details, so I like to remove it. But if you're interested in that kind of thing, it's really easy to do. And I'll just take my my usual 120 block and sand this back. And I'll go down through my various grits until I get a nice surface. There we go, easy as that. That little fin is gone and those details are filled in. Feels nice and smooth. So what else do we want to do in terms of detailing? Well, the ones that I find a little extraneous are these kind of things here. These and these. I don't mind the side slot. This one might file that off. Fill that one in. So it's basically the same process as the red one. Just filling all these little details in. Let's see how it goes. ago that kind of gives you a before and after idea of what I'm going for here. Part of the reason I'm doing the simplification step is because we're going to be using the Strike Freedom legs on this kit instead of the Freedom 2.0 legs. And they're quite a bit more simple than the Freedom 2.0s. And so I want to kind of bring this piece in particular more into that style. But if you've watched my channel before, you know that I'm kind of into simplifying things in a general way, at least the panels. Like I like to, my general theory is to, you know, make the mechanical aspect more complex and then the panels more simple. When it comes to, you know, panel lining and stuff like that, I haven't really done that kind of stuff myself. There are a lot of people online who do that kind of work, and some of them I think do it really nicely and make it look like functional panels and really cool stuff. And that kind of stuff I am totally into. The stuff where people are more like crisscrossing the surface in a just sort of design sense, but not in a practical sense, I'm not as into. But that's just, you know, my personal preference. They do a beautiful job of it. It's just that it's not my personal style. Really, it all comes down to what you like and doing that. This is what I happen to like. I like to simplify it a little bit to get rid of those sort of extraneous, non-functional details. So there is one more thing that I want to do to this, and that is this. I really like this piece here. It's cool from the front, it's cool from the side, but what I don't like is this gap here. And since I have another Freedom 2.0 kit available that I've used for parts before, I'm thinking of actually just taking it out of that one and doubling up so there are two of them here. So let's try that. So basically the plan is just going to be to move this one over. I'll have to chop off that peg, I think, and then put two of them in there. I don't know if they'll fit for sure, but let's do some chopping and find out. So I know we don't want these little side things. I'll trim this peg off as well. I'm hoping this is going to be easy and that we're not going to have to trim anything around, but we'll have to get it together to find out. I'll have to trim that tab off as well. Yeah, that fits in there pretty well, I think. Looks basically the same from the front, but just fills in that space a little bit nicer. Looking pretty good. Kind of a quick and easy bit of work this week. Nothing too crazy. I kind of like it with that sometimes. I don't want it always to be a difficult challenge. Sometimes I like just to do a little bit of work to get it in the direction I'm looking for. And I think that is looking pretty cool. Thank you very much for watching. That is the end of this week's episode. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you give me a like on your way out, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.